Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, a love story. Keith Urban was a famous country music singer. Nicole Kidman was a beautiful movie star. When people saw them together, they thought it was perfect, like a fairy tale come true. But even the most beautiful love stories can have problems. Keith's childhood. Keith was born on October 26, 1967 in New Zealand. His family didn't have much money. His dad sold things from a van. His mom worked in shops. They lived in a small house that was cold and old. But Keith's dad loved country music. He played songs by famous singers like Johnny Cash. Little Keith would sit and listen. The music made him feel something special. When Keith's family moved to Australia, life was hard. Kids at school made fun of him because he was different. He loved his guitar more than sports. Every night, he would practice until his fingers hurt. His parents saved money to pay for music lessons. Keith started playing at small clubs when he was just a teenager. He was nervous, but people could tell he had real talent. The big dream. When Keith was 18, he left home with just his guitar and a suitcase. He wanted to go to Nashville, the place where country music stars are born. Life in Nashville was really hard. Keith played music in small bars for very little money. Sometimes he slept in his car. He was hungry and tired, but he never gave up. Finally, in 1999, people started to notice him. His song, "But for the Grace of God," became #1. Another song called "Somebody Like You" became huge. Now everyone knew his name. But being famous wasn't easy. Keith felt lonely. He started drinking too much and making bad choices. Meeting Nicole. Then in 2005, Keith met Nicole Kidman at a party. She was beautiful and kind. They talked for hours. Nicole understood how Keith felt because she had been lonely too. They fell in love fast. Within 1 year, they got married in Sydney. Everyone thought they were perfect together. Nicole saw that Keith was struggling. She helped him go to a special place called rehab to get better. Her love saved his life. The problems begin. Even though they loved each other, things got difficult. Keith traveled all the time for his music. Nicole traveled for her movies. They were always apart. Keith still had problems he was trying to fix. Nicole tried to help him, but it was very hard. She wanted to save him, but that made her tired. They both started feeling sad. Keith felt guilty. Nicole felt worried. Even though they still loved each other, something was breaking. Growing apart. By 2011, they were like two people living separate lives. Keith was always on tour. Nicole stayed home with their daughters. They tried really hard to fix things. They went to counseling. They prayed. They did everything they could. But sometimes, even when two people love each other, they grow apart. It's nobody's fault, it just happens. Keith wrote sad songs about how he was feeling. Nicole kept smiling for cameras, but her eyes looked tired. The end. Slowly and quietly, they realized they couldn't stay together anymore. It wasn't because they stopped loving each other. It was because they were both too tired. One night, Nicole asked Keith, "Do you still love me the same way?" Keith said, "I love you deeper, but not the same." They decided to divorce. There was no fighting, no yelling, just sadness and respect. What Keith says now. Years later, at age 57, Keith finally talked about what happened. He said, "Love doesn't die, it just changes. Nicole gave me peace, but I didn't know how to accept it. I was always waiting for something bad to happen." Keith said Nicole saved his life once, but he needed to save himself. You can't make someone your reason to be okay. That has to come from inside you. He doesn't feel angry at Nicole. He feels thankful. She came into my life when I was dying inside. She left when I needed to learn to live on my own. When asked if he misses her, Keith said, "I miss the person I was when I was with her. I'm still trying to find that person again." Keith today. Now Keith is at peace. He spends time with his daughters. He still makes music, but not to be famous just because he loves it. He learned that being happy doesn't come from fame or even from love. It comes from inside yourself. Keith said, "I thought fame would make me special and love would make me happy. But I learned that real happiness comes when you feel okay just being yourself." Today, Keith plays his guitar quietly in Nashville. No big audiences, no bright lights, just a man who finally found peace. He whispers, "I didn't lose Nicole Kidman, I found myself." And that's his story, sad, beautiful, and true.